Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. You have clicked on this video today because you want to see some looks using my Kaleidos Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green palette. Today is December 8th. I have the day off from work, which is fabulous. And I figured I would sit down and start filming a look with this palette and just give you kind of like a week of looks kind of thing, or however many looks I'm going to decide to do with this. All of these are going to be just like soft music over it, probably like a little bit faster speed, but I am going to have like the shades, the brushes, everything that I'm using in like, it'll pop up somewhere on the screen, probably over in this general area. But I also am going to be using all of the same products on my eyes just to continue and keep continuity between like the looks. All of my eye looks, I'm going to be using my Matte Eye Primer by Ulta Beauty. Shimmers, I always use my Too Faced glitter glue. NYX glitter glue works just fine. I might change up my lip color here and there. My brow styler is going to be the Benefit, what is this? The 24-hour brow setter. This thing is great. Got this from Gratis through work. Gratis is free product for being an employee of Ulta, as well as I got this from Gratis through work too. This is the Tarte Tubing Mascara. This is absolute favorite mascara. This thing is insane. Love this. And I am going to also bring in a inner corner shade, one that just coordinates with the look, just because the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Green, the Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green palette does not come with what I would personally need as an inner corner shade. I like something extra bright, extra exciting, extra blinding on my inner corner and brow bone. This palette just doesn't do it. Very grungy, my grungy dream of a palette. And like, this is the first look I have done using this palette like solely in many moons. This palette is also discontinued, so don't feel like you need to have this palette to follow along on looks. Use whatever shade in your collection is similar to the vibes that you get from this collection. Mustard, a pretty deep like regular gold, an olive, the matte counterpart to that olive, a slightly deeper green, and then a very intense black. So just use what you have. If you don't have this palette and you want to follow along on these looks, you definitely can create very similar looks using other palettes. I feel like the BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast palette can get you a similar look to this puppy. There's many earthy tone palettes on the market. Shop your stash. I'm sure you have something similar. I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching, but without further ado, let's just get into these looks, starting with this one that I'm wearing right now. is my 3 Looks 1 palette using my Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green palette by Kaleidos. Again, this palette is discontinued. However, I am certain if you're anything like me and love grungy tones, you will have this kind of color story in your collection, whether it is in palettes or if it's in singles. I'm sure you have some similarities in your collection. If you're like totally against green eyeshadow, this 3 Looks 1 palette was not for you. I'm so sorry. If you like gold, there was a couple looks that had a little bit of gold in it. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to know if there is any other palettes that you know I have in my collection. Like maybe you can see them back here, or like you knew my collection back from Pan Those Eyeshadows, or maybe you watched my 2022 palette tour. I am planning on doing one for 2023 when I do get the last couple palettes that I ordered in 2023. So that should be coming in January. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on that content. But if you see any palettes in the palette tour from 2022 that you would love to see 3 looks with, and if I still have it, leave them in the comments down below. I would be more than happy to film a X amount of looks 1 palette. This is just a very limited 6-pan palette, so 3 looks was already a stretch for me, to be quite honest. So my thoughts overall on this palette are, I love the color story of this. I think this is absolutely stunning. I think that this is like a right up my alley kind of color story. However, I definitely feel like this is a 2 or 3 look pony, and then that's kind of the extent of looks that you can get out of this. Like, I feel like all of the looks, I haven't edited all of them. I've only edited look 1 at this point, but I'm pretty sure all of the looks look similar because these tones just, there's just not a lot of tones in this palette, and it's nothing to like fault the palette for. It's just a 6-pan. Like, there's not much you could have put in this. But I do think that maybe they could have negated the black shade. I don't need a black eyeshadow, even though this one is an incredible black eyeshadow. I feel like it wasn't needed in this palette. Maybe instead, like, I would have paired it with like a deeper, like, orangey, browny, yellowy mustard, like just something to deepen like this spectrum out, or even something even brighter, just because this is lacking like an inner corner shade, like I mentioned before. I think in the intro I mentioned that this doesn't have an inner corner shade, so I was going to have to pull in other things for inner corners. So while I like this palette, I can foresee myself getting use out of this palette because these are the kind of colors and the kind of looks that I could truly, like, this is like a neutral eye to me. Like a nice olive is totally neutral in my opinion. But I can see myself eventually wanting to pan this and like get this kind of really well loved in my collection before kind of it goes off, just because it is one of my favorite kind of color stories. But I've really enjoyed working with this. The formula in the Futurism palettes is incredible. Mattes are super soft, almost like the Lorac like formula, where it's super, super buttery, but it's not like powdery, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like these are extra powdery. But you can see, like, in these green shades, they do look much more loved. Like, all of these shades to me, look, except for the black one, they look a little bit more loved than when I initially started using this in the 3 Looks 1 palette. I can definitely see a little bit more wear in, especially, like, these 2 shades, because I used a large portion of them in 2 of the looks, I think. But I love these kinds of, again, I keep harping on it, I love these kinds of greens, so I don't mind reaching for it. And because I'm still trying to go through my subculture palette, this is something that like can pair really, really nicely with that. And I can get like the looks that I need to, because these are the kind of shades that are left in my subculture palette. If you haven't seen my update, I'll link it over here. I would love to know what you would like to see in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on new content. And again, I truly appreciate you spending some time with me today, going over a couple looks that might all look the same. I'm sorry if they do, I don't know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly hope you guys are doing well, staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!